got to be killing him most of the time because everything he does is with that. He's climbing all over this truck. He built the truck, the whole cage, the whole thing. He built all that stuff. He built the arms for the front end suspension, everything. The rear end's all completely gusseted and everything. That's everything's off. He built everything on the truck.
He just used to come to the shop all the time asking questions. I tried to get him to do this kind of stuff years before.
Because it's typical of like Americans especially to view themselves as their career. Like I'm a filmmaker, I'm a I don't know, accountant or some shit. Like we always view ourselves that way. When we introduce ourselves to people, that denotes how much we are worth, how much we make. For many of us though, we define ourselves outside of that. You know, I define myself as, you know, a jiu-jitsu guy. Jav defines himself as a racer.
Money's tight for it. A shade tree mechanic basically trying to get out there and race against some very lucrative type race sponsorship, and you're trying to do it on a shoestring budget. And to also be competitive with it, I think is what's really amazing. He's won some races, he's been competitive, and he's in it.
I know that it's one of Javier's goals or dreams to finish the Baja 500. It's very important to him.
I've been to every one of his races, but he's done 2 Baja 500s and he's not finished it.
And it was just the fact that something I'd read about my whole life. And I said, when I came into the limited class, I find it was something I could do. I could meet that goal, set it as a goal, and do it. And that was the allure. And it's also Mexico. It's, you know, one of the last frontiers we have here. You know, I love it down there. It's cool. It's fun.
I just enjoy being there. I don't know. There's something about the everything, and then when night comes, it's something. There's just something there. It's the dust, the sound, the smells, the people. You know, the stories and the situations, overcoming things. It tests you physically, mentally, just all the time. It's exciting. You're not worried about work and this and that. You're just focusing. You're focused on what's at hand, and that's getting the truck to the finish line, whatever it takes, you know.
Who our father was and what he did for a living, and his fixing his own trucks. We saw that, and it influenced us all. We grew up in dirt. We grew up on about 1.25 acres, and there was a track in our 1.25 acres, and we would make these vicious circles. Who could go, we just continuously go around this loop. And then the boys would make a smaller loop around this old maple tree that used to stand in the yard. And all it was how much dirt can you kick up? I mean, my mom would get mad. It was just a cloud of dirt. It was in your teeth, it was in your eyes. That's how worn the dirt was from us riding in circles. And then Jav and Junior and all of those boys, their friends would come over, and it was just a dust bowl in the Avila. At the Avila, it's a big dust bowl. Here he is. He's would be the third to the youngest, and he was the first to leave the nest. And quite literally, because Ojai is, I think, considered the nest. And took off and went to make his life and find out and discover who he was. And he started at the bottom, you know, basically started cooking as a cook in a restaurant, and he gradually worked his way up and learned the craft of building homes, and he did it well. He learned it well, and he was building mansions for football players up in the hills of San Jose. He came back, and he was just himself at that point. He discovered who he was and what he was interested in. Was really living the high life. Had all the toys, had the fun life, lots of friends, very social, and he was just a very generous person. It was really fun to hang out with. Was great with my kids. He'd come up to the house. We'd go water skiing. I mean, I've gone water skiing with him before, quite a few times. We just had a blast. It was a wonderful period in our lives. We were young. We were enjoying life. And then things changed.
He was gnarly. He was just a gnarly dude. He was just, I mean, he did the mudding with the trucks, the bikes. He was always partying, just bachelor lifestyle, more action than thought it would seem like most of the time.
You know, you get that thing where you think someone's invincible. Now, Javier is one of those invincible guys. You know, nothing bad's going to happen to him.
I don't know if everyone has this, but there's days that you wish you could take back, but you can't.
How did you find out?
I was there.
Okay, so can you go into a little detail of that?
We were, yeah. It's a pretty crazy story. We went to Dumont Dunes. We were riding, and Wendy was pregnant. Jav had a CR 500. So Wendy didn't ride. I had a couple bikes. He had a couple bikes. It was really, really windy. We pulled in. It was Thanksgiving. What year was it? 91?
Wendy wanted to, she needed about 20 minutes to make Thanksgiving dinner. So she said, you know, guys, got to leave. I had my truck. I was staying, they had a motorhome. We just had to get out of the motorhome for about 20 minutes so she could make our dinner. We'd come back and have Thanksgiving dinner. And we just went out on a ride. I had my CR 500 at the time.
It was extremely windy. I mean, not just high winds, it was extreme. And we were getting ready, and I was excited, you know. He had race fuel in his bike, and he got ready, and he went up there was this big hill, right? And we kind of pulled in, and the motorhome kind of got stuck, and we kind of just, this is a good place to camp, so we'll camp here.
And there was a big old dune. We were coming in. I was seeing people trying to make it, and well, in my heart, I knew I could make it. So that's what I wanted to do, is go try to make this hill climb that everyone was trying. And on that day, I mean, I guess the weather was really bad. It was a really windy day. And even heading out to that dune, the sand was getting blown around. Where it looked flat, all of a sudden you're dropping into these dunes because the sand was being blown across, the wind was blowing it. This dune, it's in my mind, that's what I felt happened on that too. I was climbing a dune. It looked like I had another 80 to 100 feet to climb. So I dropped the gear. I dropped the bike into third gear and pinned it. And was probably doing about 40, 45 miles an hour. And
he went up this sand dune, and the wind was blowing up the dune with him, like 60, 70 miles an hour, the wind. So it was blowing the sand over the top of the dune. So it looked like the dune just kept going. And the visibility, the way the sun, everything was just, you know, at the point of, it wasn't good.
I was actually at the top of a razorback. It was here. I thought it was here. I ended up flying off this thing. It was a peak.
He just went sailing over the top of that dune with almost like with the wind. It was like surreal. It was like it wasn't happening, but it was. And I had to like double take before I realized what had happened. And the rest is history, you know.
The further I flew off, the further the ground got away from me. And now I'm in the air, and I'm like looking down, and I'm thinking to myself, you're not living through this. This is it, Hob. Seriously, my life. I don't think your life passes before your eyes, but you definitely think this is it. This is the last thing you're going to do in your life, because you're not going to live through this. Because I was completely confident I was going to die. There was no shadow of doubt in my mind. I'm flying in the air. This dune's getting further and further away from me. I'm looking down going, no, this is it. You're dying. So to wake up from that and realize that I didn't die, but your life's going to change, was kind of what, that's what happened. That's where my life changed. But So anything beyond that, I felt was a perk because in my mind I thought I died. I seriously thought that was it. That was the last thing I was going to do in my life. I was going to die.
Well, I was happy with him doing everything that to be him doing things. I really was happy. I never thought that what happened to him and his fan. But it's when they told me about Javier. It was terrible.
You mean when you heard that he was paralyzed?
Mm-hmm.
Well, like a lot of the tragedies in our family, they're not really like in the open. They're kind of vague. So I didn't even go to the hospital or see Jav or anything. It was just really, we were told that he was paralyzed from a biking incident. You know, found out later that, I mean, at least from what I heard, that he went off a dune and he didn't check the landing, or he wasn't aware of the landing, and just totally collapsed his spine on impact.
You just start feeling like you're taking a lot of risk, and your luck's going to run out, and eventually those risks are going to catch up with you. That's kind of like, but that's all shit I reflected on in the hospital when I was doing it. I didn't give anything a second thought. But I did have this thing where, I don't know, it was just this feeling. It wasn't nothing I dwelled on. It was just this feeling that something's going to stop me. Didn't know what. I had no idea it'd be a motorcycle accident. I was just having fun.
Now, one of the things I do remember while he was in the hospital, he was pretty banged up, and in a lot of pain. And he had one of those morphine drop things that, hey, as you're in pain, give yourself a little juice there. And he wouldn't do it. I'm like, no, I'm like, juice it. And he's like, no, dude, I don't want to get addicted to this stuff. I don't want, So he endured more pain, again, because he didn't want to complicate things worse than what they already were. He was thinking long ranger,
No, he went through all the trials I guess a person would go through doing that. It was pretty intense, but he pretty much, let's just get on with it.
It was a tough year for my family. My little brother got hit by a train. He got killed in March. I got hurt that same year in Thanksgiving Day in November, and then almost a year to the date of my little brother dying, my dad died. That was a very tough year. It was a hard year, but it really brought our family together.
¿Te va a molestar si hablas del accidente que tuvo Javier? ¿De cómo resultó en la silla de ruedas?
Deja ver si me acuerdo cómo pasó.
¿Que se lastimó? ¿Cómo, no te acuerdas cómo se quedó?
Fue en blank my head maybe for 2 days, I don't know.
So for about 2 days, she can't recall what happened because basically she went in shock for about 2 days as a consequence.
Yes, when we went to the hospital. It's something that I don't want it, but he knows how I feel, how my mother feels.
See, she doesn't want him to know. So she doesn't want to talk about it because she doesn't want him to know how it affects her.
And I know my mother blames herself for Javier because she didn't do Thanksgiving that weekend, that year, because my brother had died. Joe had died. We were a tight-knit family. Yeah, this the big holidays. Here at this house, this is where we did it. Came here for Thanksgiving. Everyone would be here. Joe was, extremely, that was his big thing. Joe would get his turkey leg and stuff like that. And Thanksgiving was a big deal for him, for my mother, for him. And again, after he died, she was just, it's tough. Death is difficult. And she didn't have Thanksgiving that year because of that. She didn't want to get reminded, it was just, in her grieving process. And then this event occurs with Javier. So she blames herself even more. So that was tough.
I think it was a growing period for all of us, everyone around him. It changed everybody's perspective, It actually was a positive. You pull a lot of positives out of a negative, you know.
And he is doing what, for me, he is know what a paralyzed thought. He's enjoying life. He is still going races. He is still doing what he wants. Because another person in the chair, we all know have a house, the fun that be in his truck. I admire Javier.
You start questioning what you'll be able to accomplish the rest of your life. You know, you're so used to being able to walk, being able to ride a motorcycle, being able to ride a bicycle, you know, being able to freaking hike, backpack, that kind of stuff. Like going, okay, well, then what's left? What's left for me? I was into four-wheeling before my accident. It was an easy adaptation to that. It was still something I liked doing, and I continue to do it. You know, I made a hand control for my Jeep when we still was doing the four-wheeling I liked, but I was missing that adrenaline. There was no adrenaline in four-wheeling. A little bit, but not the high speed, going through something faster than anyone else did. That was missing in my life.
He continued. He continued being who he was. He had an adjustment period, but he did recognize that he had to just continue being who he was before and not be a person in a wheelchair and allow that to dictate who he was. He just went back to himself, to what was his core being and his core interests.
It wasn't long though after his recovery where he built a hand control for his Jeep, built it himself, put it in his Jeep, and we did the Rubicon like, I don't know, a year after he got hurt, if that. We're on the Rubicon Trail again, like whatever, wheelchair or not. So here he is racing. That was his dream. He did it.
My socket drawer, 1/2 and 3/8 drive ratchets and sockets and deep sockets. Not very organized. Clutter of screwdrivers, clutter of standard wrenches. If I'm looking for anything in here, I pretty much got to open every drawer because I'm not sure what's in there. Other than this one's all the air tools. Torches in here, electrical stuff, soldering stuff, hammers. I'm not a very organized person. I think anyone else can't find anything in my garage because people go, where's it go? They'll borrow a tool. Where's it go? I go, it goes where I put it. The torches actually were my dad's. I kind of inherited those, so they're kind of very special to me. I don't let anyone borrow those. They'll never leave this garage. And if I'm up here, then I can reach, you know, where I'm reaching the air cleaner, or if I got to check the oil or the fluids. I pretty much reach everything that needs to get reached up here from this spot.
I don't mean to discount what you're doing here, but you make this look incredibly easy. Like it's no big deal. You really do. It's like, whatever. Yeah, just
This one's the easy one. The blue Jeep's got 35-inch tires on it. That's a little hard. Spindles that I built, see right here. And unfortunately, most of them are in behind the tire. But yeah, that's of what I built from scratch.
I think there's a difference between winning and finishing. Winning would be phenomenal for him. I mean, I think he would have reached, the the peak of his life. He'd be happy forever. But I think he'd be just as happy just to finish. He wants to finish that race because he's given it a couple efforts and not finished. And I think finishing becomes more important than winning. Winning's sort of like, that'd be great. That'd be wonderful. I just want to get this thing done.
I think that's going to mean a lot because he's had a hard time of racing in Baja, as you can attest to. The silliest little things fail down there for him.
It's not his fault. Just things happen. It happens to all of us. I break too. But I really want to see him finish it. He would be the funnest guy in the world for the next 3 or 4 days after that race if he finishes it.
So I think that would be
Well,
huge.
this will be his third attempt, right? Yeah, I think so.
Every turn's a new turn.
I think he's thinking the same thing. It's a monkey on his back. He needs to get rid of it. He's pretty determined, and I think he needs to finish that to get that off his back.
Everyone that comes with me is 100% volunteer. They pay for their own fuel, they pay for their hotels, they pay for everything. I'm very grateful for the people that support me. They don't ask me for anything. So I think I probably have the lowest budget racing than anybody else out there. I'm in a limited class that I do build myself. I build a lot of parts on the truck. I don't have to buy them. I build them myself.
We're going to get him through the 500 this time. Got to.
If you're at a pit, they're going to be hungry. They've been in that car a long time, so we want to make sure they get food, water, whatever they need. Have a fire extinguisher, have it out at every pit. You guys already know all this stuff. Have flares just in case. Lights if you're going to do a dark pit. Scores using the radio frequencies right here in the middle of the page.
You can tow the car
4.47 miles total. About 5 miles.
Okay.
Staging 8:45. So those of you helping Javier get to the start line on Saturday morning, he has to be there at 8:45. If we have a problem, we're going to need to push to get through these checkpoints before they close. Otherwise, we're disqualified. Be 100% prepared the day before the race, expecting unexpected. Leave early and expect to be late to your destination. We are going to go here, and we're going to do the first stop. So Ruben and Ha are going to start here, and they're going to stop and they're going to get fueled up, and Matt's going to get in. Ruben's going to get out. And then Matt and Javier are going to go down to here, and then Javier and Matt are going to get out, and Ruben and Ryder are going to get in, and they're going to go across over here. Hopefully, we're going to get Ha back across there in time to get back in right here, and he'll run the rest of the race. If for some reason we can't get him here because it's pretty tight to get across here, then Ruben will do this part and we'll meet him back over here at San Matias. That's the plan. Okay, is everybody clear on what they're supposed to do? And what kind of snacks do you want?
Just pastries. Actually, it's really easy for me to get down.
Okay.
Like cupcakes or ding dongs.
Cannibal.
It's holiness.
Same stuff he used to live off in the desert.
Scooter pie.
Natural diet.
Honey buns. I think those are perfect foods. When you get that sugar rush from the very beginning, you need the carb rush later. I know my mom at the minute makes spicy burritos. My feeling up was awesome. That house we rented was freaking cool. It was the best accommodations I've ever had in Mexico. I was feeling great. Everything felt like it was going well. Completely confident. I was 100% confident we had everything it took to finish that race. I really thought that in my heart it was a given.
I think they're going to be pushing the truck. Big team, you know, 20 drivers. No, crew. It's a lot of people. It does. Takes a lot of people. We have Kickstarter films out here that we're on Kickstarter, and they raise the money for us to come here and raise the law 500. So that's why we're here.
I think in general off-road has been growing. I think obviously with Roger taking over SCORE and the things he's been able to do, off-road racing is, I was told a long time ago it was the best kept secret in racing, and we're trying to expose it so that everybody understands exactly what a trophy truck is, what a stadium super truck is, and what these vehicles are capable of. Javier, good luck, man. We'll be watching you.
Thanks, and that's my brother.
I told you, it's okay. Competition, you think beat me.
Thanks a lot, Robbie. Appreciate it.
Be careful.
So that'll be in there. Yeah.
The weebie-jeebies. I don't know exactly what that means, but that's the best definition of it. You're just, your stomach's in a knot, and you're trying to, you're in your head. Every worst case scenario is going through your head. You know, what if I break? What if we roll it? What if the truck blows up? What if it catches on fire? All this crap that you really don't need to be thinking about is what's going through your head. It's seriously, it makes your stomach tie in a knot. You're not comfortable. You're definitely not comfortable. We get there in the morning, and we were told to line up at, I think, 8 o'clock in the morning, and it was hot, and we didn't leave the starting line till like 1:30 in the afternoon. So most of that was, you know, it was hot. It was fatiguing. It was stressful. It's like, you know, you get in that truck, you have your helmet on, you're all suited up, ready to go. You just want to go. You don't want to sit in the street for, what, 3.5, 4 hours doing nothing, not knowing what, you know. You prepare yourself to start the race, and then you have this 3.5 hours that you just got to kill, and you're just going nuts. You're like, you know, I wanted to start the race and get going on our quest that we set out to do, and we were detained from it, and so that part started getting a little stressful. The very beginning started, you know, really, really difficult, and I don't know, real kind of moody or something. I just start getting where, you know, I don't want to talk to people. I don't want to talk to anybody. you know, and you just kind of want to just block that out.
To the right? This one. Which way? Which one? Hey, we're off course. No. Give me a reverse, I'm backing up. Okay, there's some bricks in the way. Which way now?
Every time I start a race, it takes me about 15 or 20 miles into the race before I'm comfortable in the truck, comfortable with what the truck's doing, comfortable with, you know, I get all the EVGBs out of my system. All that stuff is gone, and all you're concentrating is the next 100 feet in front of you on the race course, and then you're starting to see all the people that are suffering what you thought was going to happen. You're seeing cars on their side, upside down, people trying to dig their cars out of a mud hole, and it's like you start seeing everything that you were afraid of that's going through your head, and you're going through it. You know, you got past that. You're going, shit. You know, here I passed that guy and he broke, and I don't know if you guys realized, by I think mile 30 we were in first place. We had gotten around all the other trucks. We went a little further, and then the truck started making some weird noise. It started banging, clanking really bad. And I'm like, oh crap, here it is. You know, all this stuff that you think you got past, all of a sudden the truck's clanking really bad. I'm talking to Ruben, I go, dude, that don't sound right. Something's wrong. I think we broke something. And so we stopped, pull over to the side of the course. And that's when one of the trucks got around me, but he looked the truck over and goes, there's nothing wrong, let's go. Gets back in the truck, we get going.
Yeah. Go to the far already. I can't see it. Just back up and get a run. Ready? Get out of the way and get around it.
But it was getting hot. I know at one point I was overheating bad. I was just,
okay, got it.
we're traveling, it was really hot. I I was getting dehydrated. My water camel pack, I drank all that water.
Yeah.
And I remember telling Ruben, I go, dude, I'm hot. I'm freaking burning up. I just starting to mess with my head. I can't think anymore because I totally feel like I'm sitting in an oven. And he started pouring water over me, which, because it was hot, the water was hot. So he's like pouring hot water over me, but as soon as the wind hit the water, it lowered my body temperature, started feeling cooler.
I mean, it's typical, you know, we had Llewellyn was disappeared for 20 minutes or so, but he shows up, you know. We stress out to get down here way early. I mean, trophy trucks aren't even here yet. We're going to be hours behind them. So, you know, but you can't trust that you're going to be here without, there could be a wreck on the highway and you're going to miss it, you know, so you got to get here early.
Way better to over-prepare.
Exactly, be over-prepared, exactly.
I'm not worried about anything really right now.
The only guys that came close were
good. But we got a lot of extra parts we don't normally have. And Ruben can fix anything.
Yeah.
Well, the
You
whole
gotta
crew
win
will.
something.
It'll work out.
Ready? First. I can't see, dude. Harder, harder.
You know, it's just, you're just dealing with shit like that. Shit comes up and you don't want to stop no matter what. You just want to keep going because you're on this time frame.
You put it in first.
And wasn't that much after that when we did our first pit stop when you guys were there. Right after that first pit, and Matt's in the truck, we're going up this windy mountain road, and you come over this crest. All of a sudden, there's the ocean. There's the Pacific Ocean, and it was just like beautiful, freaking awesome. Temperatures are cool because you're near the ocean. All of a sudden, I'm a lot more comfortable. We drop down, and then you're running right on the shore, and there's this cobblestone area that I keep seeing in the videos, and never like the 2 years prior we tried this, we broke because we were coming the other way before I got to that. These cobblestones, it's right, you're only about 30 feet from the water, and it's just gnarly because the tires are kicking up the stones and they're hitting the bottom of the truck. It sounds like someone's beating you. It's loud. All of a sudden it's a really loud environment, but it's not violent. You're just cruising along. We're probably doing about 35, 40 miles an hour through there, but just these rocks are just plummeting the truck. It just sounds like, you know, just people are throwing rocks at you, but it was cool. We got through that. Everything was cool. We went to some silt beds, and when we got stuck in that silt bed, the locals came out and helped me get out. And one of them goes, "Dude, you're leaking oil." I'm like, "Oh crap!" We did poke a hole in it. We hit a rock pretty hard. I saw the rock we hit. You're barely being able to keep the truck moving, and I knew all I could do was close my eyes and hit it, because if I was stopped, we wouldn't have got going again. It was rutted out. I was trying to get around it, but I couldn't. Every time I turned the wheel to get up, the truck would start coming to a stop. So I just go, shit, I gotta just go head for it, pin it, and hopefully it doesn't do that much damage. And it did, put a hole in it. And I think you guys did film that next pit stop when I got out. You guys welded up the rear end, but it was only down for it didn't take long, maybe 15 or 20 minutes tops. We were still in second. The guy that passed us, he came over to apologize for running in the back of my truck. And I talked to him for a little bit, and they were in first after we were in second. Got going again, and Ruben's in the truck at this point, and so I was really feeling good, really feeling good. They fix the truck, Ruben takes off, and about 5 or 10 minutes later, the third place truck comes driving by. It was Justin Parks.
The first hill?
Got a flat.
You did get a flat?
Yeah.
We're gonna easily fix that shit, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna fix it.
at that time, we were really close. Justin wasn't far behind Ruben. And they went into Mike's Sky Ranch, which was just a really hard area to get through. And they were getting troubles. Everyone was having troubles. We had Cam in there, and it wasn't just the truck from our class. When they got in there, I wasn't there, but you know, Ruben's telling me that it was at least 30 or 40 cars that were stuck on this hill. There was just no one getting through it. So, like I said before, Ruben is probably the one guy I wholeheartedly trust 100% driving my truck. Probably no one else. And anything happened to anyone else, I'd always go, maybe that wouldn't have happened if I was there. But I know that Ruben's out for my best interest, and I knew that if something happened, it's because it just happened. And it didn't just happen to him, it happened to everybody that was trying to get to the race course there. That hills, I guess, deep, rutted, silty hills stopping everybody to get through there. So basically we hauled ass. I got in Dan's Cherokee, and we ran around to the other side where Dennis was waiting for us, and that's where things just started going to shit because it was out of my control.
They just told me, I just got on the radio, they just said close, stop it right now. They haven't given me any more information than that. Everything's going apeshit for the rest of the race. Can we call somebody in for you or what? I'm not sure.
What time did they say?
But there's actually a guy wrecked ahead of you. So you may actually have some traffic coming back at you right now. A guy was wrecked, there was a broken arm.
I'll just go slow. I'm done racing. I'm just going to get back to my truck, what I'm saying.
I can't stop anybody from doing what they're going to do.
Yeah, you know what I mean. I'm going to what you're saying.
I didn't realize that Ruben had already been stopped. We didn't know that. We weren't in radio communication. All we got was a little broken up message that he was stuck up on that hill, and then Cam had left. But Cam left because the race was over. No one ever told me the race was over at this point. I still thought we were in it. So I was still waiting for my truck, but the race was over. They had stopped them. They said, you guys are done. You can't go any further. And so we started looking for the truck.
Where's the camera, Ricky?
Well, we got one of those get out of stuck.
Wait, right there. We gotta take a picture.
We got one of those.
Yeah.
Hi, baby.
Are you live, Ryder?
Just barely. Ryder's sleeping over there a little bit. When Butterball down, he just bob his head around.
Dude, all kinds of weird shit happened out there. We don't know. There were 16 cars stuck. I bought all this fuel. I just got to get a siphon hose I can get.
And they'll go on the road.
Put it in this thing.
Yeah,
and drive home. But nah, it sucks. I'm pissed. Freaking sucks. They knew yesterday the trail was impassable.
Right. Well, isn't that what somebody you talked to yesterday
Everyone
was like?
was
That
saying.
was yeah.
It was impassable. Now, I go, Justin, how did you get through? He goes, I don't know. I'm curious to know what happened.
What they do, and like I said, it's my opinion, I think they take the Class 11s, the little stock Volkswagens, and they time the race according to what they can do. So it's based, if Class 11 can get to that point, you should be able to get to that point. And because of the delay, you had to get to this point by 11 o'clock. Well, I think Ruben got that at like 11:05 or something. So he was stopped. Everyone was stopped. It wasn't just our truck. It was like a third of the field got stopped there. They were just saying, you guys are done. You're not on track to finish the race in time. And that's where I totally disagree. Where I was waiting for the truck was only maybe an hour from where Ruben got stuck on the race course. And I knew that if I had that truck before 3 a.m., 3:34, I knew I just ran that part of the race course 6 months earlier. I know I could have got that track back in Ensenada in time to finish the race.
You gotta hold me about that level, a little higher. Okay.
And I was expecting the worst. I thought that thing had been on fire, been rolled. There was something. The anxiety would drive me nuts. I didn't know what was going on. I was in the dark. And I remember sitting at the patio of that house, the porch of and when I saw it on the highway, it still looked like the last time I saw it. I'm like, cool, at least I was expecting. I thought it was going to be just a total wreck, and being towed or drugged, and crushed or on fire. Like, I definitely expected the worst. So when I saw it, it was exactly the way. It was just missing the bedside. Other than that, the truck was exactly the way when I last drove it. So that was good. It felt good, and they dropped the truck off, and we talked there, and Ruben told me what went on. But we didn't know. It's hard being in the dark on something like that, where you don't know what's going on. You have no idea. The communication isn't there. And they're tired. I was a while. I wish they would have stuck with it and got the truck out. But like I said, again, the race was over. It wasn't about finishing the race anymore. It was just about getting the truck back. All of a sudden, you have a bunch of people counting on you, not just yourself. And to feel like you're letting these people down was not easy to do. It was tough. As I got back, the local newspaper wanted to interview me. I didn't want to do it because I was bitter. I was pissed. I didn't want to say anything I'd regret. So I kind of, kept it to myself. And I didn't lose the desire to race, but it sure took the wind out of my sail. It did. It just changed my whole view on racing. I'm like, why am I doing this? Why am I sacrificing everything I have? Every penny that I didn't spend to pay my electric bill is going into this truck to race it. And by some authority beyond your control, you get stopped. It sucked. It did. And seriously, that truck, I've not touched it since September. It's still in the trailer. Kind of left me with this $1 million over my head. And that's it. I'm thinking, I might be in over my head trying to pursue this dream. So I parked the truck, started on my other passions that I had before I started racing. Right now, I'm building a trike to go to Sturgis this year. We're going to go to Moab, going to go to Sturgis. It's not that I'm done with racing. I just feel I need a break from it. I need just something easier to try to tackle. I'm not done with racing. I will race that truck again. I just want to do some other stuff that you need rewards. When you sacrifice so much, you need rewards. That's the reason you do it. To really accomplish something. So this other stuff, there's not a whole lot of demands restoring a 65 Corvair. You do it on your spare time, but it didn't. That didn't consume my passion. I tried it, and I got bored. I'm like, thinking I'm faster than this. I can spend all my time building a Corvair, and what do I got? I got a Corvair that old people drive in the fair at the parades every year. So that did not capture my passion. It didn't at all. I'm like, fuck this. That's not me. Maybe when I'm 70, I didn't sell the Corvair. It's in the backyard. When I get older, and then just slow my life down, I'll pull it back in and get going on that again. So I brought my CJ back in. We were planning a trip to Moab, Utah, and that had my passion pretty good. I mean, I got it 90% done. It's ready to go. It's sent out in the driveway. And then I got an opportunity to go to Sturgis this year. That's a bucket list item, you know, something you have to do. So that's why the trike in my garage right now, and I know people look at it and they don't see what I see. I look at it, I see the finished product. People look at it, and my sister was over, she goes, well, it's a piece of crap. Like, no, you don't. Yeah, I guess you're not seeing the same image I see. So that's actually got my passion right now. Last night, the night before, Thursday night, I was out in my garage till like 9, 10 o'clock at night. Just into what I was doing, enjoying what I was doing, loving it. Like seeing the end result in my head and just working towards that. So, yeah, I will race again. I'm not done with racing. I just wanted to accomplish some easier goals. And like I say, it's not quitting. It's just kind of taking a break. I'd love to. I totally would. Unfortunately, right now the class is going through some changes, and that is almost where I'm at right now. At this turning point, either rebuild the truck to the class what it's become now, or just keep going the way I'm at, which I'm already an underdog and yet have an underbuilt dog truck in the class. That other than everybody that donated to Kickstarter, I know I had a few people when we were in Mexico, they came up and they would shake my hand and go, you know, I donated, you know, and I'm very grateful to Kickstart the whole program. It opened up an opportunity that probably wasn't, you know, we didn't have the funds to go down there. We weren't going to do that. It was this, so I in my heart, I feel the Kickstarter was a success. It helped us accomplish what we set out to do. I mean, the overall result wasn't the result we were looking for, but the opportunity to go back down there was everybody, even if they donated $1, I'm grateful for it, because without that $1, this would never happen. So, this and that, I am grateful. I'm thankful. It was, all in all, a great experience, and I will be back. We'll finish that